Hello everybody and welcome back to Starcraft 2. Just like the previous match, we are getting these replays from the new Discord that I've joined, which is a community Starcraft Discord where they like to play Starcraft 2 and share their replays where I am allowed to cast them. This one, if I read it correctly, is two high-level Grandmaster Zergs. Now, I don't know if that's true. I would assume it is. I don't believe they would have any reason to lie, but that's what it said. So, we should be in for a treat. Zerg versus Zerg, very high APM match, can be very explosive. We'll have to see what both players end up doing. Both players doing the extractor trick, by the way. Both of them sitting over 14 supply, but I'm gonna get ahead of myself. In the top left-hand side of the map, we have WagonMafia, our blue Zerg. And on the bottom right side of the map, we have Proxyimba, the orange Zerg. Now, the thing is about this map, if we take a look, is it's very strange. I don't think this is a ladder map. Is this a ladder map? There's no way. I think this might just be a fun map they found. This looks very large. This map is massive, and it's not your normal structure. But for now, we have 3 drones on gas. We'll probably see less drones on that as soon as we hit 100 here for Proxyimba, because he's going to go for that speed. We only have 2 gases here for the WagonMafia. Again, I think this is more of a I only want 100 gas situation. I don't think either person wants to rush to the other side of the map. So that is why we're seeing that. I'm curious really quick if I can turn off observer chat. 1 second. Unfortunately, I don't believe I can, but that is okay. We will just have to ignore it. Or if you want to read it. That is up to you. But as I was saying, we have the Ling speed on the way, and Proxy did drop down to just 2 workers on the gas. This stuff does, by the way, point out that this is a high-level game. I know it seems simple, but simple stuff like that is how you really optimize your builds. Like right now, we just hit 100 gas. Oh, and there it went. And then, yep, back down to 2 drones on the gas. We got the natural here finished up for both players, which the positions are so weird. This is going to be a very tough game to cast just because of the layout of the map being so different. Even, by the way, placing your spawning pole here is partially part of the build here, I believe, for Proxyimba. I wonder if this is where he's going to place the queen? No, actually. Where is the queen headed? It is headed over here. It was just getting out of the way of the Baneling nest. Okay. This is to help deal with Ling run bys and stuff, by the way. All right, we have the 2 Lings of WagonMafia here. Checking what I assume he assumes is the natural. Doesn't see it. However, going into the base here, he is going to see, I mean, there's only 2 Lings made. And now he will go down here and see that there is nothing else here for Proxyimba. WagonMafia going to go for that 3rd hatchery. No surprise. Also going for the Baneling nest. Very standard ZvZ. I'm just curious if we're going to see a hard stick to the Ling Baneling with it being such a long rush distance. Like, look at this. If you were to run across this map, it's insane. It's insane. It would take so long. So it looks like WagonMafia did the opposite order on grabbing bases, whereas the 3rd base for Proxy is here. This was the first one that Wagon took, which in a way makes sense. It's a little bit harder to defend, and it's such a long rush distance. Why not go ahead and get it established? Wagon does go into a lot of Zerglings, is going to try to get a cancel here on the hatchery. I don't know if Proxyimba has a way to stop this cancel. He does have some Lings. WagonMafia going to try to micro his Lings in a way that he might be able to do damage. He does go ahead and take the fight here. It looks like they traded a Ling or 2. It's hard to tell exactly. Neither of them doing anything crazy. We do have 2 Banelings here for WagonMafia. WagonMafia is going very hard here. We have a single Baneling for Proxyimba, but the problem here now is the fact that it does look like this hatchery is going to get really low health. However, he's moving in to try to stop the blue Lings from WagonMafia. He does stop them from the most part, and he is going to be able to chase them out. Now, while that was a really good defense by Proxyimba, this low hatchery is going to be a problem for a while. We do have the Overlord spreading across the map. Less than I would usually see, though. Not as many as I'm used to seeing with ZvZ. And WagonMafia, if we look at the production tab, going into a ton of Zerglings and more Banelings versus mostly drones for Proxyimba. This to me is not a surprise because this hatchery. WagonMafia is going to do everything he can to kill this hatchery because it would be a huge blow. However, he needs to get it now, because if he doesn't get it now, the economic damage that he's going to face from building this many Zerglings instead of drones is going to make it not worth it. But he does get it. So, I would say favor is in WagonMafia's hands right now. But you have to remember, WagonMafia did cut drones to make that possible. He's at 40, and Proxyimba has 41. Honestly, closer than I thought it would be. We do have roaches out now for Proxyimba, which is going to make it harder for these lings to actually get in here and do any damage. The thing is, lings very easily can run by roaches, but they can't fight them. They will die to roaches, and it won't even be close. Like, you need a fair bit of lings to take out roaches. And, of course, more banelings being added. This is going to be pretty safe now. I don't imagine WagonMafia is going to get much more damage out of it. He does have a Spire on the way, though, whereas I don't believe a Spire has been finished for our other Zerg player yet, which is going to be an issue for our other Zerg player because mutas are a vital part to the ZvZ experience. If he has a ton of mutas on the field, one, the roaches are kind of negated. If the roaches move out, it takes a while to kill them, but you're just going to soften them like crazy with the Muta, and you can't really do anything about it. In two, I mean, you're going to take economic damage. You're going to have to invest into Spore Crawlers, and you pretty much have to build a Spire in this matchup. And I think it might be because of this base not being built that he's not mining off of these gases that makes him not build the Spire yet. But it makes me concerned. It makes me concerned because the more mutas you have, the more unstoppable you become. I'm not saying it's over, by the way. It absolutely is not over. I mean, if you look at the supplies right now, there's a lot of investment going to different locations for each player. Like, if we look at the units tab right now, Proxyimba has 45 drones, but they have 23 roaches, which I was about to say he needs to do something with because it's wasted supply. And now you see they're moving across the map. The huge ling run by it in the meantime, though, does take out, I believe, the only baneling here. The roaches are probably going to stay by the ramp to try to get that blocked. In the meantime, the roaches are making their way up here. But now we've got Muta on the field. So right now, the best thing these roaches can do is get in here and do as much economic damage as possible. Whether that's kill queens, whether it's kill drones, whether it's kill tech, he needs to do something with this supply. Roaches are a lot of supply for how bad a single roach is. Now, roaches in general aren't a bad unit, but the more of them you have, the worse your army because of their supply cost versus effectiveness, if that makes sense. But he does get up here. He does do some damage with the roaches. It wasn't as much as I'd like to see. Honestly, dive bombing the Spire might have been worth it. I know the economic damage is so, like, tasty, but look at this critical mass of Muta. This is where things are going to get very scary for Proxyimba. That's why I think dive bombing this might have actually been the best thing he could have done, because WagonMafia is going to probably rebuild the Spire and is committed to that tech. So we'll just have to see what he does. He only has... Okay, never mind. I lied. He does have multiple Spore Crawlers. Let's see if the Spore Crawlers are going to be enough here. He does have Hydras on the way and the Hydra Speed, but they are off by a fair bit here. So they're not really going to be able to help much with the Mutas. His main is, by the way, mining out. See how this is starting to mine out? That right there is a huge sign that Zerg needs more bases. I mean, it's a huge sign that any race needs more bases, but Zerg in particular, honestly, 4 to 5 bases right now would be absolutely massive. But again, he's not going to be able to because of the mutas. The Hydras are out. They are going to be able to scare and, you know, push the mutas away. But the thing is, it basically creates a contain. There's not really a way for Proxy to get out and take an expansion right now. The lack of a Spire is we'll have to see what he decides to do. The Nidus network is interesting. We do have a Nidus coming up in the main base for WagonMafia. What is the Nidus actually filled with? It's going to be filled with Hydras and Queens. We have the Lings and Mutas running across the map back. The drones are trying to stop this. but they're not going to be able to stop it fast enough. And with all these units pouring out, he's probably going to lose a lot of the drones in the process, especially since he saw the queens that are going to transfuse the Nidus, and he doesn't do anything about it. He just lets the drones die. So that's why the queens are there, to transfuse the Nidus, because if the Nidus goes down, all your units are doomed and they don't come out. But in this case, he loses almost every drone he has in the main after seeing the queens. I will admit, though, the Nidus does go down because of the Mutas. However, he's got a lot to deal with. That's a lot of Banelings. That's a lot of clumped, squishy units. The Banelings are going to do a ton of damage here. Oh, mostly hitting the queens. Still quite a few Hydras up, a couple of queens, but it is going to get cleaned up here. A mixture of building a few roaches and, unfortunately, losing a lot of the Mutas in the process. Damage was done, though. However, notice what he wasn't able to do behind it. There's no fourth base. Oh, no, he is taking a fourth base. I wonder if he's aware that the drone would run that far just to take this base. Because again, this is not a standard map, I don't believe. There's no way this is a ladder map. If it is, I'd be very surprised. So he is trying to take a fourth, but he had to run, like, literally a marathon to get down here, which is a huge problem. Because the economy is what's going to steamroll this game in one direction. And the Mutas are going to see it, and now because of the duration, or like how hard it is to get over here, he can't defend it. This has to be canceled. The Mutas are just creating a contain. This is what I was talking about. Will he cancel, though? No cancel. There was no cancel from Proxy. He does get 3 of the Mutas in return, but it's not really going to matter because I believe 11 more Mutas are now onto the map. Oh my god. So let's look at this from a not pessimistic standpoint. The reality, right now, Proxyimba is going to have a stronger army if both armies are to clash head on. The reality, I don't think Wagon is going to let that happen. We have a ton of Mutas now. They're going to start shooting at the roaches, which Wagon actually didn't notice that for a while there. Potentially could have got a lot of those Mutas killed if the Hydras were a lot closer up. He does rebuild this again. He did destroy the rocks, though. It's easier to save this now. Because these rocks are gone, he will be able to get to this fourth a lot easier. It's also going to be a tad easier to keep the Mutas away, depending on how he places his army. Because let's be real, Mutas are fast, can go over the dead zones, so they can absolutely still get around. We are on 1-1 upgrades for our Blue Zerg, and only 0-1 for our Proxyimba Yellow, who just got a bunch of Mutas, which is a huge win. Every time he gets Mutas, it's going to be a huge win. Again, the army potential for Proxy is a bit better right now. But that being said, if these Mutas aren't taken care of, he can't do anything with the army. But he's doing a good job keeping them away. Some roaches trying to do a run around here. They will get by. They're going to run in. They get 1. Let's count. A 2. A 3. 4. I think 5. Okay. 6 or 7, I think. 8. This is a lot of drones. We're getting a lot of drones for these roaches. That was an effective trade on those roaches. That was very good. Proxyimba doing everything he can now to get workers onto this base. We're probably going to see a very passive style for at least another minute or two here from Proxy. But the problem, take a look at those supplies. WagonMafia is wanting to do damage. He's at full supply. He's got more bases. He is ready to try to punch Proxyimba. Now remember, he doesn't have to kill Proxyimba. He just needs to do damage. He's got more bases, and he's at full supply, okay? All he wants is damage. He doesn't even have to kill Proxy here. Banelings didn't really do much. They connected mostly with the roaches, if I saw that correctly. And Hydras by themselves are going to melt. They can't DPS these roaches. I will admit I didn't notice the amount of units on the right-hand side there, but I don't think it matters. I still think WagonMafia has a stronger army. Now at 2-2 versus the 2-0 of Proxyimba. He's going to move in here. I don't think Proxy is going to be able to defend this. The Roach is just too strong. I mean, he's dealing with it quite well. I will admit he might actually clean this up. But take a look at the supplies. That's where the story is being told at right now. Because he was unable to take any bases, and he was trying to get this droned, He's now having significant trouble restocking that army, whereas WagonMafia, the second something dies, all he has to do is immediately add more units. Proxy has a huge uphill battle right now. A huge roach run by on the left-hand side. I think he's going to play with the Mutas here to try to keep Proxy over in this location. And in the meantime, while this is happening, yep, the roaches are easily going to come in here and start doing massive damage. They need to target the hatchery, though. I want them to focus fire the hatchery. There we go. Focus fire the hatchery. Do not switch over to the Hydras. Oh, he's going to do both. He's got enough units. He's just going to do both. He's going to split it. I think that's the nail in the coffin. I don't know if Proxy can come back from this. It's just a huge economic difference, man. I mean, the larva difference, the income difference. Proxy. Not getting those mutas earlier. Not expanding quite as fast as Wagon in the early game. It's showing. The economic difference is showing. I will admit, Proxy's got the fighting spirit. Proxy is not leaving this game. But his main's mined out, essentially. He's barely got any gas on these, and he does decide to GG out. WagonMafia, congratulations on winning that game. You guys both played really well. I think it was just a slight economic difference. I think the map also played a difference, because if that map was the first time they've played it, it was funky. It was a funky map. But if you guys like, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next replay.